I'm Debbi Dachinger. Welcome to Dare to Dream. Be inspired to live big and bold and take action to turn your dreams into your reality. Go beyond obstacles and limits of your thinking. Accelerate results to catapult yourself to success. I'm a visibility expert who gives media makeovers to clients, booking them on media interviews and turning their books into international bestsellers with guaranteed results. Join me at DebbiDachinger.com. Dare to do great things. Dare to shine. It's all about you becoming a visionary and leading the pack. Welcome to your daring new life.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here with you. My big announcement for today is my dog Shelby turned 3 years old today. I can't tell you how excited I've been coming into her big birthday and telling her all the days preceding, you're still 2 years old, you're still 2 years old. And today we woke up and I told her how much I love her and how incredible she is. And she got a pup cake. You know, they have these things, right? They sell the cakes, the actual cakes for dogs, which I thought, oh, my word, there's no way she'll eat that. It's so big. And then they have the pup cakes, and it's made with yogurt for icing and other good doggy stuff inside. She basically ate the icing and wasn't interested in the rest, but that's cool. It's her birthday. She could do whatever she wants. And we went to the dog park, and she got to run around with people and dogs and have a great morning. So more to come for her later on today, because it's a big celebration of someone, something, a creature, a four-legged, a goddess in a dog body that I love so much. So Shelby's birthday is today. How does it get any better than that? And yes, indeed, I am Debbi Dachinger, and I am a media visibility expert. I work with professionals and entrepreneurs who are ready for the next big step. These are leaders who want to write a page-turner book, take their book to guaranteed international bestseller, and they want to get scheduled on media interviews, and I take care of all of that. I basically get my clients at the end of the day to turn their visibility into customers and become the go-to authority in their field. A little bit later on, I have a definite authority in her field here. That's Glenda Shenkal. And she says that when it comes to relationships and love, there are two big myths. One, that all the good ones are already taken. And two, that it's hard to find a great match if you're over 40. And she swears that if a single woman knows what to do and what not to do, interested men will keep coming and getting even more interested. So the great news is Glenda has actually lived this transformation herself, and so have her very happy clients. She will be on later on Dare to Dream, and I'm totally ready to learn from her. And I want to remind you today to acknowledge when you're discouraged and take action to bring yourself back up. I really want to talk about discouragement because I'm hearing right now out there, in air quotes, out there, that discouragement is really up for people. And I just want to say, what is discouragement? I looked it up in the dictionary. You know the vibe of it, but it means the feeling of despair, that there are obstacles in your life that you are experiencing and you're feeling despair. You're feeling opposition. You're feeling disapproval. Let's talk about it, because when we feel discouraged, first and foremost, what I know about transmuting anything is acknowledge it. Say it like, this is real. I am angry. I am discouraged. There's nothing quicker to come through you energetically that when you actually give it a voice and say what is. Also, speaking of anger, notice anger, because anger can often grow into discouragement. So maybe start with looking at the anger, admitting and healing the anger. Something else you can do is look at someone who's doing something that you think is terrific in their life, or they're terrific. So encourage someone else. It starts to create levity in your space. Next, stop trying to control things you can't control. And with a beautiful breath, we can all right now just let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Persistent ambiguity. having a leg in both spaces is very discouraging, So I recommend that you establish milestones. They can even be small milestones because seeing progress encourages you. And you can solve a small challenge or complete a project. Checking something off your list lifts a weight from your shoulders. Definitely focus on the things that you do best because it feels great to do something well and feel good about it. Feeling alone can be discouraging. So if that's present right now and there's a lot of alone stuff, alone weekends, alone nights, let somebody in. You do the inviting. Be with a friend. Be a friend. Find a way to connect. And there's an upside here. So the upside of discouragement is it can motivate us. Maybe we're going to evaluate or reevaluate ourselves. And maybe we're going to change something that's really important and can totally alter the trajectory of where we're at. And the last thing is drain the drama, right? Look at how you're responding to things. I say this with great love and compassion. Just check it out, and maybe you can choose a different response, like pull back, widen back, and instead respond objectively. And I promise you, if you're feeling discouraged in your heart and in love, we have an expert here today who's going to be on a little later, because when we come back, Glenda Shankal is going to talk about how age has nothing to do with what single people are looking for and how we can definitely get people to be really interested in us and what to do to make that happen. Stay right there. This is Dare to Dream. We'll be right back.
When you walk through the world, truly being you, everything and everyone is invited to change. Join Dr. Dane here in his unique classes on being you. Whether you've been asking for something greater, looking for a way to change your life, or longing to change the world, Dr. Dane's Being You classes crack open a world of ease, joy, and possibilities. For a list of Dr. Dane here's upcoming classes and resources on being you, go to www.beingyouclass.com.
Hi, Debbi Dachinger here from Dare to Dream podcast, award-winning and heard live every Wednesday at 12 Pacific time. Question: do you want to be a published author? If so, you can apply to write a chapter in the new anthology book called I Am Still Here. To be a featured author in this compilation, go to debbid.net/anthology. Seeking men and women to become a published best-selling author this year. Apply at debbid.net. The unique offer includes writing a chapter or being interviewed and having your interview transcribed. The book will be launched to international bestseller. The authors will be interviewed on 3 podcasts: global press release, book video trailer, authors featured in published magazine, transcription, editing, book interior, and cover professionally done. You can write about health, business, spirituality, relationships, and more. Go to debbid.net/anthology. These applications will go fast. You can be a published author this year. Registered debbid.net/anthology. Hi, it's Debbi Dachinger from the award-winning Dare to Dream podcast, heard live every Wednesday at noon Pacific time. You're invited to receive a visibility strategy session to move your business forward. The session is going to help you get clear on what's holding you back, uncover how to better reach your clients. Send your interest application to this email, daretodreamradio@gmail.com. If you feel like Moses, wandering around the entrepreneurial desert, imagine how helpful it will be to have a 45-minute call with a visibility media expert. Ready to get clear? Ready to get direction for books, web presence, bestsellers, media, and interviews? Book your visibility strategy session today. Email daretodreamradio@gmail.com and put the words visibility strategy session in the subject.
Hi, my name is Arjuna Arda, and I'm the author of the new book, Radical Brilliance. Have you ever stopped to consider why Albert Einstein came up with the general theory of relativity? Emmeline Pankhurst got the vote for women, and Steve Jobs rethought the way we understand computers and cell phones, while many of us just watch in amazement and applause on the sidelines. What is it that causes some people to have original ideas which change the world? Radical brilliance is the answer to that question, and it presents 4 very different kinds of subjective experience and brainwave activity which, when they come together in a human life, radically increase your chances of being brilliant. Come visit radicalbrilliance.com, where I've prepared a free 5-day mini course that explains all of the principles of your brilliant life.
This is Debbi Dachinger, and I've got Glenda Shenkal here. She's been coaching people in personal transformation for over 20 years, and she discovered very early on that she could see all aspects of a person's nature. She describes this as innate sensing. She's got a lot of happy clients worldwide, and she really helps them get to a path of joy in their life, abundance, and personal power, because she has a recognition of other people's inborn soul path. She's written several books, including You Are Beautiful Enough and Love Comes Easily. Glenda teaches her clients how to easily find the love of their life, and it changes everything. So these days, her single women clients keep asking her, please teach me your signature process called How to Get Men to Run After You. Girl, I am down for this conversation. Her website, just so you know, is lovecomeseasily.com. And Glenda, welcome to Dare to Dream.
Thank you so much, Debbie.
I want you to tell people, I know that was the bio, but still, I like to hear from you. What's the specific work that you offer?
Love comes as an end product after joy arrives as a sort of daily life routine, and it's an accidental outcome. And when you glow with happiness, and this is what I teach people, I've been teaching it for a long time, and you know how to handle yourself around men. That's very important. Most women do things wrong when they're single. When you know how to handle yourself, then men get interested, they get more deeply interested, they get profoundly interested, and then they start running after you.
So I love this because part of your story is that you yourself were single for decades, and you were like, oh, this is the way it's always going to be for me. And you did not have such great relationships. So tell us, what was that special journey that happened for you and it turned it all around?
Well, I think it's the most important change in my entire life, because when I was a child, I was born skillful. I think there are a lot of capable people who are born skillful with special abilities, whether it's math or music or whatever the talent is. And I was an effective person. And when I was a child, even adults came to me for advice and they brought me serious questions. Those were very easy for me, but relationships with men were always really painful, and they'd go wrong pretty quickly. And men seemed ambivalent about me or critical. A lot of them were really critical, or they'd lose interest. It was like I was not important. I wasn't even in the room. And so to come to a place where men ran after me, that was just completely shocking, I have to be honest.
I love this about you. And of course, when I met you in person, you were so smart. I don't know if you do this with men, but it was sort of a flirt in a way. When you came up to me, I think you knew I was single, and you said, like, I can teach you this. I can show you this. I can get men to run after you. They did for me. I can show you how you can turn things around. It's like, okay, totally intriguing. I'm down. I'm in. Let's do this. So perfect timing for the conversation. And we talked about a little in your bio, bring it back, that you learned this and you teach this, that there are 4 key concepts and there's one lifestyle change. It's like the 1-2 combo or the 5-step combo. So let's talk a little bit about the concepts and the lifestyle change here.
Okay. The first concept is to leave the past behind in a way that is extraordinary and unusual. Because what I've discovered is over the years, as I've helped people, I show them the next step in the path that I see for them. It's just lit up all in front of them. And I show them that step. And then they say, oh, well, there's all these reasons in my story where I can't take that step. And so then I help them clear that and clear that and clear that. And what I recognize is if you're living in the past, the future can't transform itself for you. It's impossible, even though you want it to. But you'd be amazed how stuck in stories most people are. And without training, most people are. Most people are really stuck.
Totally. I hear it every day. I see it every day. I even see myself. There are places and spaces where, I just called myself out this morning, in fact, and said, wow, that's why this looks like that. I don't want to do that anymore. I think I'm punishing someone else and I'm getting hurt over and over. So I get it. So leaving the past behind, transforming and releasing that totally makes sense. Letting go of the story. Okay, that's the first thing.
Right. And then the next one is to begin to focus your attention, because a lot of people put maybe 5, 10, 15%, 20% of their attention on negative personal stories. So you just take all that energy and you're going to plug it into the dreams that you want to have come true. And you're going to continually focus as the days go by on these dreams in all kinds of wild and crazy ways they could come true. So this is like when you're sitting at a traffic light and you're going to turn left and you have to wait for the light. You're like, hey, what if I did that thing this way? Hey, what if I did it that way? And you don't set a firm plan. You just let the dreams kind of mill around in your mind constantly all through the day.
Ooh, that's amazing. Okay. I'm taking notes here. Great. And number 3?
Number 3 is profound connectivity with healthy people that you love, meaning emotionally healthy connections that nourish your soul. This is where you put attention and energy. A lot of people are babysitting a dysfunctional person, a black hole person, some sort of narcissist or addict or drama queen or something. So you let those people go gently. You love them. You don't have to have sort of any kind of dismissal or cut off point with them, but you move your attention out of those relationships and into nourishing, joyful ones, and that feeds your soul and transforms you profoundly.
Wow. Okay. And then number 4.
Number 4 is I'm going to talk about the lifestyle change, which is to integrate silence and daily stillness into your routine.
Wow.
That gives a place for emptiness to be filled by the universe with great things that you want and need and hope for. And it's hard to do. Most people are terrified of a stillness practice, or they say things like, oh, I can't meditate. I was trained in a Zendo by a Roshi, and I found that meditation is one of the most joyful things I can imagine.
Is there anything, so let's say that is so, that somebody says, oh, I've tried it, I don't know how to do it, or, what does that look like? Do you have a successful modality that people can create that silence and stillness and depend on it for a daily practice?
Yeah, I really think it's something that has to be taught by someone who knows how to do it. And one of the reasons for that is you have to know that what you're doing is okay. Because in the stillness practice, the mind is always going to be moving. The Buddhists call it monkey mind, where the mind is always bouncing around. And hungry ghosts, which are memories often of the past, things that didn't go right, arise and they clog our attention. So knowing what you're doing or not doing, it's kind of an individual one-on-one teaching, and I teach that at retreats. And I often have an expert yoga instructor, too, who can help with that development of practice. But it's really, Zazen is just sit. That's what the word means, just sit. Yeah. And it means sit in a certain way, but not really a certain way. So it's kind of hard to explain, if you know what I mean.
Well, let me ask you this. So while you're sitting, are you focusing on breathing or just focusing on or emptying your mind?
Because if you try to empty your mind, it keeps refilling itself. There's no way to empty your mind because the function of a mind is to be full of ideas, right?
Okay.
That's what our Roshi taught us. He's like, hey, if your mind's got stuff in it, that's fine. If it doesn't have stuff in it, that's fine. What I allow my mind to do, this is a very important tip that I can share, and that is to just allow the mind to gently settle, just like sediment in water. So if you have, you stir up a jar of water with sand, and then you just wait gently while the sand settles back out of the water. That's what my stillness practice has become. So when I first sit, my mind's going boom, 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 bouncing all over the place. And gently it settles. And I'm not keeping track of it. I'm just observing or sitting with it. And then after a while, when the gong rings for the end of the meditation, I discover usually that my mind was quiet and I don't even know where I was. And that's the peacefulness of that stillness practice. But there's more than one way to get there. That's just the classic way. Yeah. And that's the way that's most powerful.
And so this was the 4 key concepts plus the lifestyle change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I totally get it. I feel energetically where that is. Mm-hmm. So you say myth number 1 is that all the good ones are taken. So if that is a myth, Glenda, then what do you say as an expert is the truth instead?
Well, I think that is a story that women share with each other, and it's a very damaging story. And I used to tell myself that. Like, I'd occasionally meet a wonderful man. I was like, why do I meet all the Yutzes, right? But I'd meet a wonderful man, but he always had a partner with him, it seemed, or there was a wife somewhere or whatever. And then my hopes were sort of dashed, and I also believed the myth that all the good ones were taken. But what's actually true is when you meet someone who's in alignment with who you are, both of you light up and you begin your journey of transformation and joy and love together. What happens, I would say, is that men are waiting to be lit up by love, the right woman, the right circumstance, the right timing. And if their heart is in the right place, and they're not just players, there's plenty of guys who are just players, or they don't want to grow up yet, or they're not ready to settle down or whatever. But there's tons of men, millions and millions of single men. There's 107 million singles in the U.S. now, at least, over age 18. So there's 50 million men. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, odds are in our favor. Okay, when you say it like that.
Yeah, that's right.
How could you not?
Right, exactly. And those men are waiting to be awakened with the woman with the right presence, the right vibe, the right, what's the word, sort of je ne sais quoi, if you want to say it that way. And then they become alert in a different way to that woman. And then when she responds the right way to them, then they get really interested. And you can have crowds of men. You can have a dozen men chasing you and not really be dating any of them, or dating 1 or 2 or 3. I mean, it's crazy. They're right there. Right. They're waiting.
We're going to get there. We're definitely going to get there, because I got to know the secret sauce here. I want the secret sauce for the barbecue. Before we get there, because that's going to be in the next segment, I'm going to make us all wait, because I'm going to flirt here. You also say myth 2, Glenda, is that it's hard to find a great match when you're over 40. And you also say, hey, a younger man would actually eagerly pursue a woman who is 40 years or older. She has the right look, right personality, right vibe. So talk about that, finding a great match when we're over 40.
Right. There's 3 men that leap to mind. Well, there's 4. There's more. There's 4 men that leap to mind. 2 of these guys were in their 20s. 2 were in their early 30s, and they wanted to marry me. And I didn't take them seriously because I thought I must be imagining that they were that crazy about me. But when the first guy came, and I don't know, I kind of put him off a little. Okay. And then the next one, and by gentleman number 3, I was like, this is a serious thing. These men are looking for a wife. They know what they want. You do have to have the right look. You can't be frumpy. You can't have helmet hair. You can't have boring conversations. You have to be lively and energetic, and you have to be in love with your life. And you can be attractive in your own way. And the men, they're right there, and they feel the sort of mystery of your marvelous life, and they just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. It's nuts. Even if you don't want to make time for them, they'll keep showing up, or they'll come by and ask you again. but again, you can't respond with too much eagerness. You don't want to put them off. You don't want to dismiss them rudely. You have to have some sort of balance between interest and the ability to bide your time and be aloof.
Ooh, okay. Well,
does that sound hard? Yeah?
Actually, I want to know more. I am going to ask you more in the next segment. But where I am right now, Glenda, is how much I loved that sentence. And I'm going to repeat it because it actually sounds like the title of something, or maybe it's the title of the next segment of my life. Men feel the mystery of your marvelous life. That's big, so big. So folks, you're listening to Dare to Dream Radio. Join me after the show on Facebook at Dare to Dream Radio and TV. And guess what? When we come back, if you want to know how to handle yourself around men and how to get men to run after you, you're definitely going to be here for the next segment with me and Glenda. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
When you walk through the world truly being you, everything and everyone is invited to change. Join Dr. Dane here in his unique classes on being you. Whether you've been asking for something greater, looking for a way to change your life, or longing to change the world, Dr. Dane's Being You classes crack open a world of ease, joy, and possibilities. For a list of Dr. Dane here's upcoming classes and resources on being you, go to www.beingyouclass.com.
What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if you're far greater than you've ever given yourself credit for? What if it's time to know the gift and the contribution you are to the world and to like yourself a lot more? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. Asking questions opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not about finding the answer, it's about being the question. Always. What I'm inviting you to step into is something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Picasso, and Aristotle all knew to be true. What if no question is too big or too small? What if anything is possible for you? What if together we could create a kinder, gentler, happier world? Is now the time? Go to beingyouclass.com and sign up for a free video series, My Gift to You. beingyouclass.com. What if you, truly being you, are the gift and change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
Hi, it's Debbi Dachinger from the award-winning Dare to Dream podcast, heard live every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific time. You know what? You can be a published best-selling author this year. It's true. I am looking for coaches and healers and writers and consultants who want to write a chapter, and I'm going to take you from author to published. Go to debbid.net/anthology. So many of my authors' books have become international bestsellers, and they've been interviewed with great results. So these applications will get full quickly. This unique offer for an anthology includes writing a chapter or be interviewed instead and have your interview transcribed. The book will be launched to international bestseller. All the authors will be interviewed on 3 podcasts. A global press release, a book video trailer, authors featured in Publish magazine. You get to vote and choose between 2 book covers. And your book is professionally edited. With marketing copy available also for you, everything's provided. You want to go to debbid.net/anthology. Remember, there's no E. It's debbid.net/anthology. You can be a published author this year. Get ready to enjoy a successful book experience writing your chapter in I Am Still Here anthology. Gain publicity and visibility. Register today. Go to debbid.net/anthology.
How do you comfort a grieving child? It's not easy, but the book, My Mommy is a Butterfly, facilitates the process by introducing your child to the concept of signs from the afterlife. These signs will prove to your child that their loved one is still around them and still loves them. The heartwarming story encourages your child to focus on the power of love and how it transcends death. My Mommy is a Butterfly will uplift your child with hope and resiliency. Your child will become empowered to learn that death is not only an ending, but also the beginning of a relationship where love never dies. Written by Michelle Bieber, My Mommy is a Butterfly is available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Debbi Dachinger on Dare to Dream. I'm here with Glenda Shenkal, who's telling us all about love, relationships, and getting the love we want with a lot of options. So, Glenda, you say that the biggest mistake that single women make is being too eager, no matter how old, no matter how young. So I want to talk about that number one mistake, being too eager. Why? Why do we do that? Why is that so hard?
Well, we have a fairy tale in our mind about true love and living happily ever after, the things we heard in childhood, and we think that love will complete us. So this is a story we hear and believe and share, and it's really wrong. First of all, we complete ourselves or we're not complete. That's how this game is really played. And second of all, true love is a mystery of the universe, and we can't create it by action. You can enhance it, you can nourish it, you can care for it, you can expand it, but you can't create it. The universe creates this, just sort of like it creates life itself, maybe. So thinking that if you do the right thing, that love will appear, or if you say the right thing to a guy, love will appear. I think these are mistakes. And I think that women try really, really hard to say the right thing, look the right way, be cute in the right way, have the right kind of conversations, and they're just knocking themselves out trying too hard. And a guy can feel that, and it comes across as desperation. And it also comes across as chasing the guy, and his job, if he's a manly man, is to chase you. And if you chase him, or you're too eager or too worried about love, you will turn him off and turn him away after 1 date or 2 dates or 3 dates, or after you sleep with him, he'll just disappear because you've done all the wrong things.
What is your take? I mean, I always think personally, when it comes to dating, I'm not somebody who jumps into bed. I don't care what the chemistry is, but it's not something I do quickly, because I think intimacy, to me, is very important, to have a real connection first, and that there's some kind of safety and real intimacy there, so that when we go to that stage, it's just the natural progression, and I'm ready for it. And when I was younger, obviously I did all the wrong stuff, did go to bed with somebody too quickly, and I found, God, the next day it was so frickin' awkward, because architecturally, the intimacy base wasn't there. It hadn't been created yet. And so I'm curious, your take on, do you have a certain amount of dates someone should go on before that happens, or do you have a vibe that should be happening before that occurs?
I would tell women, I've also done it all wrong, just so everybody knows that. I got everything wrong myself for so long. But I give my clients the advice, do not be intimate with a man until you are at a clear commitment phase. So when he's ready to make you the center of his life, it doesn't necessarily mean an engagement. It doesn't mean a marriage. It can mean whatever you two agree. But when you've reached that point and he's offered that commitment to you, and then it becomes a natural progression of your closeness and your joy and your delight with each other, that's a different story. But hoping to hold a man through sex is like the biggest mistake of all time, aside from being too eager. It's a catastrophic mistake, and it will sour everything quickly.
Yeah, and I think it is particularly painful for a woman, because of what the sex act looks like, right? And let's face it, we're being penetrated, we're very open and vulnerable. And I think when we allow this experience, the sexual experience, to happen too early, and then we are what feels like rejected, or he moves on somehow, or doesn't treat us well, it can be devastating. Because you've just had what feels like an intimate connection to the guy. It was like, yeah, that was fun. Right. So I do think what you're saying is very important, to pace ourselves, to trust that the guy is still going to be there and not run away just because we're not.
I teach women to vet men rather than date them. And don't date just anyone who asks you. And don't show encouragement to any man who's really interested in you. Take your time deciding if you're even interested in reciprocating the man's attention. Most of the men who ran after me, this started happening with like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, then 10, 12, 14 guys at a time coming after me, but I wasn't in a space to really want to date initially. And when they would come, I would think to myself, well, what do you have to offer me that I really want? That's advice I give all my clients. It's in my dating audio course too. Instead of trying to impress a man or please a man or show him how cool you are, just forget all that stuff. Don't do it. It's the wrong thing. And also women really fall into two camps, maybe in a man's mind. I read this from a psychologist expert who's been coaching men and women in a clinical setting for decades. And she says there are two kinds of women to a single man. There are potential mates, and there are women who are one of the boys or one of the guys. And these are the ones who are too easy and they're intimate too soon. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, it's really, really interesting.
It is. So don't date, vet. And overall, then, how do we handle ourselves around men? It's like we're talking about what not to do, and I really appreciate that. What is the things you talked about, being lively, energetic, loving our life, etc., men loving the mystery of our marvelous life. But talk in depth. How do we handle ourselves? Because we want men to run after us, and we want to achieve what you talked about, which is get them interested and even more interested. And we want to be in the position you were, at least, 3 guys saying, I want to marry you, and all these great options, and sitting back and just being us.
Those were men in their 20s, for the record, by the way, that I thought were too young. There were a lot of older guys who were more age appropriate for a woman over 40 that were good matches. Some were better matches than others. So one of the first things to keep in mind is to be charming and pleasant, but not too eager or too friendly or too enthusiastic about the guy. Don't hang on his every word. Stop doing that. If you do that, hold it in. Don't be thrilled by that he called you. Don't be thrilled that he texted you. Don't initiate. Don't make the first move. So those are some more things not to do. But here's some things to do. Be interested genuinely in a man if you are, and let him show you what he's got. Let him step up and show you he's got abilities, he's got talents, he's interesting in his own right. He has a good life. He has skills. He has things in his experience he's proud of. Let him present those to you and impress you. I love to be impressed. And I'm not easily impressed by men especially. And so when they found that challenge, they could tell that I wasn't that easily impressed. They were like, well, I can impress her. I can find a way to do that. And they would do that. They would sort of extend themselves. Another thing that's very important, in spite of what I said about not being too flirty or girly or eager, whatever, is to look your best all the time. Men want to look at an attractive woman, and they are attracted by good looks. You don't have to look like a movie star, but you want to look like your best version of yourself. You want to look authentic and pretty in your own way, because men love beautiful women and they love to look at someone appealing, and that draws their heart in toward you. So you need to look your best consistently. But like for me, I like flip-flops and a long flowy dress, and my hair's always wild and piled on top of my head, and I've worn glasses for years every day. So I look more like a librarian than a movie star, but men were running after me. Just there were all the men I could pick from.
Okay. And I love that you say that, and I appreciate that you address that, because I was wondering, so what if a woman feels body shame, or she's like, God, I'm 20 pounds overweight, or I don't know, or I'm aging and things are going south. There's so many things people feel, and especially today with all the magazines and comparisons that we live with. So how would you address that in looking our best and feeling really confident?
That is such a great question. I'm glad, because I forgot to go there, and it's key, because we all feel uncomfortable in our bodies to some degree. I think that's universal for women, maybe even for famous women or movie stars, those known for their looks. So you focus on things that you do feel comfortable about in your own body, and you highlight those. Like, I have really penetrating eyes. My eyes are very visible even behind the glasses, and they get attention. So I'm comfortable with that, and I let my eyes shine. wear clothing that's flattering on your body type. I know a very beautiful young woman about 35 who's big. She's really big. I don't know how big she is, maybe a size 22 or a 20 or something, but she has glowing, lovely, clear, luminous skin. She wears little makeup. She has beautiful features. Whatever your features are that are ideal or wonderful, capitalize on them and talk about them to yourself and focus on them and try to let the other things go. That's part of letting go of personal stories that damage you. Release those parts of your appearance that aren't perfect. And nobody's really going to notice a little line or wrinkle. That's one of the reasons I thought that a guy in his 20s couldn't want to marry me when I was over 40. I was like, he can't be serious. He has to notice that I have some gray hairs. I've got some wrinkles. They don't care. They're looking for a gloriously interesting woman they can love who's beautiful to them. And their view of you is not your view of you. It's different.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Does that help?
Yeah, because this is freeing. I mean, everything
Good.
You're saying is actually just releasing the bonds I think that we all grow up with, which is clearly a lot of myths. And anything else around how we can get men to run after us?
Let me see. So one of the reasons I think men started running after me was I totally gave up on relationships 1,000%. When I left New York and moved to the southwestern desert, I was like, okay, I might spend the whole rest of my life alone. I might die alone in my 80s. I'm okay with that. That sounds good. I don't have a problem. And I totally embraced that and just released it like it was a non-issue. It became a non-issue. So that's important, not to tell yourself stories about, oh, my biological clock, blah, blah, blah. Give that up. Stop focusing there. Another thing that I did was I was 1,000% focused on my business. I wanted to write books and I wanted to help people. So I put my attention on that and having my dreams come true. And I actually walked through the town that I lived in with my arms folded and my eyes sort of lowered. I didn't make eye contact with men. I didn't talk to them. And I wasn't interested in meeting men. And then men started kind of pursuing me, even though I wasn't really that available. But I had glowing passion for my business, for my relationships, for my wonderful life. And men were kind of knocking down the door after a while because I was deliberately not focused on any of that stuff that women are always focused on. And it's difficult. You have to be mentored out of the habit of thinking about, oh, my weight's wrong. I've got wrinkles. Oh, he looked at me. Should I text him back? All that stuff. It's hard to give it up. That's why so few women achieve that moment of having men run after them.
Incredible. And one last thing, when you say be genuinely interested, not too eager, but genuinely interested, and let him step up, what does that look like, letting him step up?
Well, they'll throw themselves kind of in front of you. If you get this right. Encourage the man. Let him know. One of the things, okay, I'm so glad you asked me this. Look him in the eye when you do pay attention to him. See him, hear him, feel him, and he will feel received. And when a man feels received, like on the soul level, when I look at a man and talk to him, he feels received if I've paid attention to him. And this is a new life experience for many people, that layer of connectivity. There's no dating or flirting. I'm just connecting with the man on the soul level. That's my natural area of expertise. Other women can learn that skill. You combine that with not being eager and looking great and attractive. I'm pretty confident that even in your 50s or 60s, you can have men running after you. And my clients have had that result.
Well, I am so thrilled to hear you say that because that's one thing I do really, really, really well. I do really listen to people and I'm very present. I do look in their eyes. And then that makes me curious. So, but if we're doing that, what about us? Should the man, when we're vetting them, should they be asking us questions, really listening to us? Is that something we look for too?
I think it's important to have a rough sense of what you want in a partnership. I think in our hearts we all know. And when you find the right man, when I found the right man, he lit up like he was struck by lightning the first second I saw him. And that was 3 years before he made his grand approach. He planned 3 years to ask me to marry him before he said a word. And I just watched him and waited to see what he would do. But our eyes made that deep level connection. So you will know the man when you meet him. He will feel familiar. He will feel like he's like you. You'll know who doesn't. I mean, small things you can accommodate because none of us is perfect, but you want a really good match. Somebody who feels natural and comfortable where you can be free inside your own skin. But they'll try to impress you. They'll bring whatever they have to the table. They'll show off. They'll tell you stories. They'll dress well. They'll tell you about their accomplishments. Just listen and pay attention, decide if it's interesting to you. You can always change the subject. And that's another way to get a man coming back. If you change the subject gently, he'll come back again with an even bigger offer, oftentimes.
Beautiful. Oh, my goodness. Well, when we come back, we're going to hear a client story about a transformation from heartache into personal love triumph. And I'm excited to hear that and see what's possible, where somebody started, where they ended up. So stay with us. We'll be back. And listen, subscribe to Dare to Dream. You love the show? Subscribe. It'll come right into your inbox and give you a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge. New show out. Definitely listen. I'm on iTunes, Spreaker, YouTube, and leave a review, a 5-star review. It really counts. Stay right there. We'll be back.
What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if you're far greater than you've ever given yourself credit for? What if it's time to know the gift and the contribution you are to the world and to like yourself a lot more? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. Asking questions opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not about finding the answer, it's about being the question. Always. What I'm inviting you to step into is something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Picasso, and Aristotle all knew to be true. What if no question is too big or too small? What if anything is possible for you? What if together we could create a kinder, gentler, happier world? Is now the time? Go to beingyouclass.com and sign up for a free video series, My Gift to You. beingyouclass.com. What if you, truly being you, are the gift and change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life? When you walk through the world truly being you, everything and everyone is invited to change. Join Dr. Dane here in his unique classes on being you. Whether you've been asking for something greater, looking for a way to change your life, or longing to change the world, Dr. Dane's Being You classes crack open a world of ease, joy, and possibilities. For a list of Dr. Dane here's upcoming classes and resources on being you, go to www.beingyouclass.com.
Have a dream but not clear how to manifest it? Feel like the rest of the world was given the secret to achieving their dreams except for you? This acclaimed book, Wisdom to Success, The Surefire Secrets to Accomplish All Your Dreams, was written for you. Author Debbi Dachinger received the Inspiration Book of the Year Award and Critics Pick from U.S. Book Review and Writer's Digest for Wisdom to Success. It's a life-changing read, available at Amazon.
What is forgiveness like in your life? Is there someone right now that you need to forgive? Project Forgive is changing all that, teaching you how to skillfully forgive and finally get that freedom. Go to www.projectforgive.com. It's time you freed yourself and freed your dream. You're listening to Dare to Dream.
if you're tuning in after we've started, this is Debbi Dachinger on Dare to Dream, and I'm interviewing Glenda Shenkal. She offers laser-focused coaching for men and women, plus retreats, and is a true love happiness coach who teaches the right approach that will change everything within 90 days. 90 days is so fast. I love that. Again, her website is lovecomeseasily.com. So I know I promised the client story. I promise we'll get there, but I gotta go here because we were just talking in the ad break. I brought something up and even the producer wants to hear it. So the deal is, in my past, I've mostly been the one to end a relationship, and my energy upon the ending was literally, even during the ending, I couldn't wait to get back out there. So I had a lot of joy, a lot of confidence, and I often relationships started quickly for me. So this last breakup after 10 years, completely different for me. And there is bitterness. There was shock. There was an ending I didn't expect, and the way it ended, and betrayal, lies, a lot of stuff. And cool, I even know the stuff in my childhood that it brought up, and what a gift to get to look at this to heal it. I appreciate that. But I'm asking, so to be in that energy, though, how does one get themselves aligned with having that woohoo joy of my life, and I'm really open for this next thing, and I feel really confident after that. So talk to that.
Mm-hmm. It's very easy to believe that we are positive and at the same time be negative and stuck in our stories. And this is true for all of us. It can be true for me as well. And it requires coaching. It requires somebody to go, really? Did you just notice what you said there? Because it's easy to sink into the old habits and think that we're optimistic when we're blue or we're sort of stressed out. It's helpful to remember that our moods transform themselves in cycles. So we go through a cranky day or week or month or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with a bad day or a bad week. We don't need to feel bad when we're having a bad time. We know that the sun is going to shine tomorrow. Something will be different tomorrow. Also, to refocus your attention continually on stillness practice helps things clear more quickly. It's very powerful. There's a UCLA study that says that people who've meditated 20 years or longer have an 800% shift in brain chemistry for positive chemicals. That's huge. I can't overemphasize how important it is. Wow. Controlling your habit of slipping into the past and telling yourself negative stories. It's key. And then focus on things that bring you joy every single day. Focus on the things that bring you joy, the relationships that bring you joy, dreams that bring you joy. And this will have a cumulative effect on your experience. It will change everything over time, but it's a practice. It takes about 90 days to learn the skill sets.
Okay, God, you are so positive. And I love basically, I'm taking a lot of notes, and overall, what I'm hearing the drumbeat of over and over is this can happen. This can happen for everybody. You do some of these shifts, and all of this, clearly our lives will change completely when we align ourselves. And then love, and the love we really have always wanted, is possible.
Yep, it flows in from every direction. From coworkers, from your boss, from clients, from strangers on the street. A man stopped one day. I was dashing from here to there, thinking about my business full of joy and excitement and processes in my head. This gentleman stepped up next to me. I was in a shopping mall. A tall guy, kind of bald, maybe 50 years old. And he said, "Pardon me, excuse me." And I looked up at him and he said, "I just wanted you to know that little black dress is the most phenomenal thing I've seen this month. I just thought you should know." And then he turned around and walked away again. So just saying.
That's great. Well, I apologize in advance. I'm going to load you up here at the end because we just have a few minutes, but I do have at least 2 questions to ask. So we'll just ping pong. Okay. Give us a client story, someone you work with, and how did they transform heartache or tragedy into a personal triumph around love?
Mm-hmm. A lot of the women I work with are in New York. They're hard-driving business women. I lived in New York. I love New York, etc. So many of the women in New York I worked with, they make the singular mistake of treating all connections with men like business meetings. That's helpful up to a point. You have to run some female energy for men to be attracted to you as a woman. And I trained them on that. So I had this darling client. We'll call her Tammy. That's not her name. I worked with Tammy extensively for about 90 days. She found a fabulous guy and she was thrilled. And then I coached her for an additional 90 days out of overeagerness. She was so thrilled. She was like, when I first met her, she was like, well, I'll never find love and it's never going to happen. And I'm blah, blah, blah. My career is a success, blah, blah, blah. So I taught her the 4 key concepts in the lifestyle change. And then men started to come and she met a man almost immediately that she fell in love with and he fell in love with her. And then they worked together. She learned how to communicate, to nourish the relationship and bring him ever closer. And it's a skill set. It's a skill set. You have to always have power and attention on your own personal life. And that's what I taught her. So she, I don't think that they're married, but it's a happily ever after story. It took about 6 months all told for her to start with nothing and end with the guy of her dreams who is head over heels in love with her.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, darling, one of the things you teach people is have a dream and dream about it, mill it about. So this is Dare to Dream. Give me a sentence. What do you next dare to dream?
Oh my gosh. I want to start a foundation to clear the oceans of poisons and reforest and create habitat for animals. And I think about it every day and dream that world into being.
Thank you, Glenda, so much for being on the show today. It was so great to have you.
I loved it. Thank you.
I end today's show with this quote. The most beautiful thing is to see a person you love smiling. And even more beautiful is knowing that you are the reason behind it. Next week on Dare to Dream, I'm featuring Ariel Ford. She's a love and relationship expert and a leading personality in the personal growth and contemporary spirituality movement. She's written many, many, many books, and she's going to be talking about the law of attraction and soulmates. A reminder, subscribe to my podcast channel and also subscribe to my inspirational YouTube videos at youtube.com/Deb on the radio. Thanks for joining us today on Dare to Dream. And remember what Glenda said, allow your attention to be plugged into your dreams and just daydream about ways for them to come true. Have a great week.
To contact the award-winning syndicated Dare to Dream radio show, go to DebbiDachinger.com. Keep your excellent feedback and comments coming. Your host, Debbi Dachinger, is an expert at goal achievement, a media personality, an international best-selling author, and a keynote speaker. Debbi leads high-quality teleseminars on how to achieve goals, how to be a self-published best-selling author, and how to get booked on radio. All classes are at DebbiDachinger.com. Debbi's best-selling books are Dare to Dream, This Life Counts, sold on Amazon, and her second book, Wisdom to Success, The Secrets to Accomplish All Your Dreams, sold online at all bookstores. Tune in again to hear the next inspiring interview guest who has turned their vision into a successful reality. Want more support in making your dreams come true? Go to DebbiDachinger.com. That's www.DebbiDachinger.com. You'll see videos, MP3s, archived interviews, and amazing products sharing the secret steps to making your dreams come true. Remember to dream big with every expectation that your dream will become real. Dreams are free, so free your dreams. What do you dare to dream?
Here I'm standing now, waiting for my time to be all that I can be. It's so easy to forget, life is in my hands, and I can change it if